In a quiet village surrounded by dusty roads and wide green fields, people often told a strange story. They spoke about a man who once had everything a person could be proud of. But one day, he sold the only thing that truly mattered. Not his house. Not his land. Not his animals. He sold his honor. And from that day, his life began to change in ways he never expected. This is the story of that man. Character introduction. In the village of Nurbad lived a man named Karim. Karim was not rich, but he was respected. People trusted him more than anyone else in the village. If someone lost money, Karim would help find it. If travelers passed through the village, Karim offered them water and shelter. The elders often said, Karim may not own gold, but he owns something far more valuable. That thing was honor. Karim lived in a small house with his wife Amina and their young son Yusuf. Life was simple. Karim worked as a trader. Every week he traveled to nearby markets, buying goods and selling them in the village. He never cheated anyone. He never lied about prices. Because of this, customers trusted him completely. Even the village chief once said, if Karim gives you his word, it is stronger than a written contract. But sometimes, life quietly tests the strongest people. And the test usually comes when we least expect it. Rising conflict. One summer, a wealthy merchant arrived in Nurbad. His name was Hakim Rahman. Hakim was known across many cities. He was powerful, rich, and clever. But people also whispered something else about him. They said Hakim cared only about money. One evening Hakim visited Karim's small shop. He watched Karim carefully weigh rice for a poor woman and charge her less than the usual price. Hakim smiled slightly. After the woman left, Hakim said, "You are honest. I like honest men." Karim nodded politely. Hakim continued, "I have a business offer for you. One that could change your life." Karim was curious but cautious. "What kind of offer?" he asked. Hakim leaned closer. "I need someone trustworthy to help me sell my goods in this region." Karim listened quietly. Hakim placed a small bag on the table. When Karim opened it, his eyes widened. It was filled with gold coins. "Half of this is yours," Hakim said calmly. Karim looked confused. "For what?" Hakim's voice lowered. "You only need to do one thing. Tell people my goods are the best quality in the market." Karim frowned. "What if they are not?" Hakim smiled again. "That doesn't matter. People trust you. If you say the goods are good, they will believe you." Karim felt uneasy. But that would be lying. Hakim shrugged. "Not lying. Just a broken bar helping business." Karim closed the bag slowly. "No," he said firmly. I cannot do that." Hakim did not argue. He simply stood up and said, "Think about it. Opportunities like this do not come twice." Then he walked away. The pressure begins. For several days Karim tried to forget the conversation. But life suddenly became harder. His son Yusuf fell sick and needed medicine. The doctor from the nearby town asked for money Karim did not have. At the same time, Karim's trading business started failing. A drought had damaged crops, and fewer people were buying goods. Bills began to pile up. One night, Karim sat silently while Amina cooked a simple meal. Amina noticed his worried face. "What is troubling you?" she asked. Karim hesitated, then told her everything about Hakim's offer. Amina listened carefully. After a long pause she said, "Gold can solve many problems, a broken bar, but lies can create bigger ones." Karim sighed. "I know." But when Yusuf coughed weakly from the other room, Karim felt something heavy in his heart. Sometimes the hardest decisions are not between good and evil. Sometimes they are between desperation and dignity. The emotional turning point. A week later, Hakim returned. This time he brought an even larger bag of coins. He placed it on the table without speaking. The coins made a heavy sound. Karim stared at them. Hakim said softly, "You have a sick son. Your business is failing. I know these things." Karim felt shocked. Hakim continued, "I am not asking you to steal. I am not asking you to harm anyone. Just recommend my goods." Karim's mind became a battlefield. On one side was his honor. On the other side was his struggling family. Finally, Hakim said something that changed everything. "If you refuse a broken bar, I will find someone else. But they will not be as honest as you. And when people buy bad goods, they will blame the entire market a broken bar, including your shop." Karim felt trapped. His reputation could suffer either way. After a long silence, Karim slowly pushed the gold bag toward himself. Hakim smiled. Karim whispered, "I will do it a broken bar only once." But the moment he said those words, something invisible inside him began to break. That night Karim could not sleep. He kept hearing his father's old words in his mind. "Son, money comes and goes. But honor, a broken bar once lost, a broken bar rarely returns." The climax. The next market day arrived. Villagers gathered around Karim's shop as usual. Hakim's goods were displayed on a large table. A farmer asked, "Karim, are these tools strong? Should we buy them?" Karim felt every eye on him. For the first time in his life, he hesitated before answering. Then he forced a smile. "Yes, a broken bar, they are very good." People trusted him. They bought the tools. Many villagers spent their savings. Karim felt a strange heaviness in his chest. 3 days later, the complaints began. The tools broke quickly. The metal was weak. Farmers returned angrily. "Karim, you told us these were good." Karim tried to explain, but the damage was done. For the first time, people looked at him with doubt. Word spread through the village. Karim recommended bad goods. His reputation, built over many years, began to crumble in just a few days. Hakim, however, had already left the village with his profits. One evening Karim walked through the market. No one greeted him like before. Some people whispered. Others simply avoided him. Karim finally understood something painful. He had not only sold a lie. He had sold trust. And trust is far more expensive than gold. The moment of realization that night, Karim sat outside his house under the stars. His son Yusuf was slowly recovering, but Karim's heart felt broken. An old traveler passed by the road. Seeing Karim's sad face, the traveler stopped. "What troubles you, my friend?" Karim told him everything. The traveler listened silently. Then he said something simple. "When a man loses money, he can earn it again. When a man loses health, he may recover. But when a man loses honor or a broken bar," he paused. "A broken bar, he must work twice as hard to rebuild it." Karim asked quietly, "Is it possible?" The traveler smiled gently. "Yes. But it requires courage." Redemption. The next morning Karim did something unexpected. He went to every villager who bought Hakim's goods. He returned their money, even when it meant selling his own belongings. He stood in the market and announced loudly, "I made a mistake. I allowed greed and fear to guide me. I betrayed your trust. I will repay every person." At first the villagers were shocked. No one had expected such honesty. For weeks Karim worked day and night to repay everyone. Slowly, people began to see his sincerity. An elder of the village finally said, "Karim fell on a broken bar, but he stood up again with truth." Respect did not return instantly. But little by little, trust began to grow again. Karim had learned the hardest lesson of his life. Powerful moral lesson. Ending years later, Karim told his son Yusuf a simple truth. Never sell your honor, no matter how difficult life becomes. Gold can fill your pockets, a broken bar, but honor fills your soul. And when a man sells his honor, a broken bar, he becomes poorer than the poorest beggar. From that day forward, Karim protected his honor like a treasure. Because he had learned something the hard way. The world may forgive many mistakes, but nothing is more valuable, and nothing is more fragile, than a person's honor.